One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in its soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistles report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Yes, sir. Good morning and good morning to everybody. Let's get it in. Shout out to all of you legends, man, making this shit happen. Every one of you guys in the Breakfast Club. I cannot thank you enough. We got our coffee, man. Look, we got our coffee today, all right? Yes, I still do have a soda because it sounded good, all right? Don't be mad at me. Don't be getting crazy with me, but I do got my lava over here. It might be a little too hot to drink still, but so we're going to let that cool off for a minute. But good morning to everybody. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with us. We got an interesting one this morning. We got the full interview that Kamala Harris did live on Fox. I guess it's not necessarily live, but it was on Fox. And we're going to go ahead and go over all of that. Also, guys, make sure that you guys hit that like button. It's the number one metric of all of YouTube. And also make sure you're subscribed down below, man. It's free to do so. I very much appreciate it. Also, if you guys could do me a favor and follow my Instagram over here, man. That's where I post everything behind the scenes of the show. Once in a while, I'll go live over there with the homies. We have a good ass time. I post all the, behind the scenes shit of the show, my life, millennial food time. It's always a good ass time. If you guys would like to help out the show monetarily, we have super chats and we have channel memberships. Little side note, we're doing a membership drive tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a really good time. And then the very next day is members only. But aside from that, we have these scrolling down below if you don't want to have YouTube take a mega 30% cut. You know what I mean? So it's very much appreciated. Thank each and every single one of you guys for being here. We are going to have a good ass time on this one. And by the way, full disclosure, I have not actually watched this. Okay. I decided that I was going to go ahead and wait and actually live react to this. You know what I mean? I didn't want to necessarily watch it and then like get the opinion, fuck all that. I actually like doing shit live. And so I held this on purpose, didn't watch it. I only saw one clip and that clip was on Hollywood Show this morning. Good morning, KP. I see you up in here as well as Evil, as well as brother Steve, Tiffany, Shadow, brother Lee Lance. And also big shout out to brother Lee Lance. He sent a $5 spot over to the Cash App before the show had even started, man. Thank you, dude. You know what I mean? We got Tats up in here as well. It's going to be a good one. What's up, Papa? Good morning, kind sir. It's always a good ass time. Thank you for being in here, SNS. Always a good ass time. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Nicole, appreciate you for being here. All right, Frank. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move this on over. Boom. This is off of Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris grilled on pivotal issues as election nears on special report. All right, fuck it. We're getting in. We're going super deep on this shit. Fuck it. We're going all the way. Let's see what we've got to review.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
Voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election.
Yeah.
And specifically the influx of illegal immigrants
what up,
from
redneck?
150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have, and you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a
which is-
number? Do you
but
think
just-
it's 1
You know what I'm
million,
going to
3
talk
million?
about.
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is,
Whoa. Whoa. We're not even 45 seconds into this bullshit, and she already got copped an attitude.
that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your
And-
Homeland Security Secretary said that
Well, no, I'm not-
85%
but
of
I'm not
Me
finished.
too.
apprehensions.
I'm the same way,
We
Lee.
have
It's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate
People
of
make fun of me
6
for that
million
shit.
people
That
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when
Oh,
you
shit.
came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to
Oh,
be
man,
detained
so
through
good.
deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress before
Look at the way she's
we
speaking to him.
worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the
What up,
Chips
CJ?
and
Good to see you,
Science
man.
Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act,
Blair.
the first bill,
Woman
practically
prattle.
within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
These
Yes,
are-
ma'am. It was called
and-
the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially
so,
a
but
pathway to
may I
citizenship for
please
the.
finish?
Yes,
May
ma'am.
I finish? May I finish responding,
But
please?
Dang.
But you have to let me finish.
You had the
please.
White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and
in
they
the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding.
She is fighting hard for her ability to speak right there. Holy shit.
To the point you're raising,
Okay.
Fight
and
for
I'd
it.
like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question,
Oh my God. The way the way that even her tone of voice, she is so condescending. She's doing that shit so on purpose. It's really a bitchy move. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to cap. I'm not going to sit here.
It's not the cap.
That's kind of what, it's a bitchy move.
it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with ports.
I can't believe she did it either. I would have never thought that was going to happen. I commend that she actually did do it, but if it were only up to her, I guarantee she wouldn't have done it. And I think that, she's got, since she thinks, almost like the mindset of a prosecutor, right? That, I could steamroll any of these motherfuckers. Well, is it really? Can you really steamroll these motherfuckers? I don't know. These guys in the media are pros.
Points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did. And we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative
What's up, Bill
members of the
Hicks?
United
Good to see
States
you, man.
Congress, to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more
Well, so far, I'm seeing that she is able to answer a lot of the shit without interruption. But granted, we're only 3 minutes and 37 seconds in.
resources into prosecuting
Good morning,
transnational
Brother
criminal
Dwayne.
organizations, which I have done
Yes, ma'am.
as the former attorney general of a border
Yo,
state.
Madam
Bill
Vice President,
Hicks,
a couple
that's
of things.
probably the biggest. That is probably the biggest compliment someone like myself can receive. Thank you very much, kind sir. That goes like I take that shit to the bank, man. So I very much appreciate that. I hope
the
that I provide
trafficking
value
of
to you guys.
drugs, guns, and human beings. And
six
Donald Trump,
Democrats-
but let me just finish.
Six
and
Democrats
Donald
voted
Trump
against that bill.
learned
Nitro.
about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the
That's right,
American
Tal.
people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you.
but actually
I
is
hear
focused
you.
on fixing
Six
it.
Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year.
Holy
A
shit.
lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the six Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some
can't
of the
feel
men
bad
who
for
were
her.
released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision
see
by
you,
your
Joker.
administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you,
No,
do you
no,
owe
Brett,
those
I think it's
families
really, I think
an apology?
let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases.
First of all,
There's no question about that.
oh my God.
There's no question about that. And I can't imagine.
Why are you speaking like we're babies over here, dude? What is happening?
the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together
Madam Vice President.
to ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy
Darren, good to see you.
decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Oh, boy.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration
It's
open
going
border
down.
policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungari's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what
I
I'm
will
saying.
tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss, sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you
Brett,
want to
in
answer?
Oh,
all
man, I'm
fairness,
reserving
I
my
told you,
comments.
I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration, even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed.
Oh, you're
We
so
need-
fucking capping, bro. Oh my God. Stop the cap. It is unreal. I'm actually getting emotional damage from this. I'm going to do this for myself.
Emotional damage.
God damn. Stop the cap. You are officially a Pinocchio, dude.
I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate,
No
and you
kidding.
are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
That's
what up,
how
Doug?
the
Good to see
system
you.
works.
That's the premise of this question.
But
There were
that's how the
90
system
plus
works.
executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talked to the
Kozo, good to
Border
see you,
Patrol
man.
Union for
Good morning.
support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it.
I
But
gotta
they
try some
also
of this
just
coffee.
endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
Still,
I think they're
like lava.
frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you
That's
said
right,
in
Steve.
2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago.
What's up,
And
Nitro?
I'm very
Good to see you,
clear
man.
that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again. And as
Pastor,
Vice
good to see you,
President
man.
of the United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear, and I am very clear as
Yeah, Seymour. Good to see you, man. Good to see all of you guys in the chat rolling in, man. Thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with us. We got Brother Dwayne as well, man. Good to see you guys. And Brother Straight Jacket. Brother, we got Sister Mooch over here. Chilling. We vibing, having a good ass time. Appreciate you guys, man. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with you guys. It's just crazy.
Walls, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
So
right, Bill.
decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
No, but let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara cartel to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after
Billy,
people who
good to see you, man.
present a threat to the safety of the American people.
Oh, shit.
And
Real quick. Coming in hot. Fester coming, a YouTube member. Appreciate you, kind sir. Let's go. Don't forget that tomorrow we are doing the membership drive, man. It's going to be a good ass time. And then the very next day on Saturday is members only live for you guys in the Breakfast Club. It's going to be a good ass time.
Cross
Appreciate
our
you,
border with
Brother
the
Fester.
intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Why?
So are you still in support of using taxpayer?
Why is that? Why would you do that? Why would we fund your mental illness? I don't understand why we're so just embracing. I just don't get it.
To help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender.
That's a fact,
I will
Steve.
follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis.
Multiple people think so.
People in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries happened during his
presidency. Good to see you, Chase, man. Scramble North, good to see you too.
Surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in black and white.
Would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment
I will
surgery?
follow the
got
law,
you.
just as I think Donald Trump would say he did.
you would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think it's he spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people.
Good to see you, CJ.
Whereas at $20 million on that ad, on an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people.
No, Bill.
It's really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
On plans for the American people, I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates, Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker, would ignite inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. Those are the facts.
Yeah. Why do you think more people say they
oh, okay, I
trust
got you.
him on the economy than they trust you?
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as president of the United States, it has been clear to those who study.
Yeah, I think the left doesn't even want to debate this. They're just going to say that interviewer bad, kind of thing. That's usually what is going to happen. I can guarantee you the deflection and the cope is real.
And understand how economic policy works, that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward. And they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be, again, to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change.
Wow.
But also, I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear.
Good to see you, Redneck.
My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency.
Gary.
And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences.
So let me just get this straight. Kamala is out here just saying words and shit. Like, that's literally what's happening. You know what I mean? Woman prattle at its highest form. Yeah. Yep. You're just saying words and shit,
And fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
Good morning, Daddy. Good to see you.
For example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue.
You just say that and then expect us to believe what you just said. Like, how the fuck do you make that happen, woman?
Those small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses, extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page.
Oh, what a good fucking question, dude.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
Forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all, turning the page
Away
from
from you,
the
bitch.
last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat
Exactly,
down instead
Darren.
of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam
That
Vice
is
President, more than
turning the page.
70% of people
That is
tell
about turning the
pollsters-
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than
People are
70% of people
exhausted.
tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
What are you going to say now, Kamala?
Stupid.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about.
What?
You and I both know what I'm talking
I actually don't.
about.
What
are
is
you
that
talking-
answer? What?
Stupid.
If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've
since-
been the person
Come
holding
on,
the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking
What
about.
happened?
You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking
What are you
about
talking
is
about?
that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become,
power.
but listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends
So you're just saying words and shit.
full-time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him
Madam
instead
Vice
of
President,
the American people.
If
People
that's the
are
case,
tired of
If
that.
that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
It's
if
not
it's
supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be easy. Kamala,
Stupid.
get it fucking together, dude.
Is not supposed
Holy
to be
shit.
a
Are
cakewalk
they
for
misguided, the
anyone.
50%?
Listen,
Are
let
they
me-
stupid? What is
God,
it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within,
An
talking
enemy?
about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying
knows it's
I was
going
like
so downhill
threatening.
right
I'm
now.
not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect.
That's right, Nitro.
That clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
he was asked
No,
about that
no,
specific-
that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and
I'm telling
respect
you,
to
that was the
you,
question that we asked him.
you didn't show that. And here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times. And you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American
I wonder if she speaks like this in court, does this like slide with like the judge and shit? Just question.
people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States in the United States of America should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this,
No,
Madam Vice
no,
President. You call
let's not
Donald
diminish
Trump.
the significance of that.
Call Donald Trump. He's misguided.
Is that your Adderall speaking? What was that?
You say now
He's
he
unstable.
is unstable.
He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You
and
told
we should
many
all be
interviewers
concerned.
that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden,
Yep. Oh, you
I
called
have
it.
watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room. And he has the judge.
She went from being like a district attorney, fucking prosecutor, whatever bullshit, and then all of a sudden she's speaking to babies again.
And the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
But
is.
you talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After
is.
George Clooney said
and
within a
if
few
you
minutes of
watch
talking to President
Donald
Biden
Trump-
at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same
Brett.
Joe Biden that
What up,
we saw
Mule?
on the
Good to
debate
see you, man.
stage.
Good morning, good morning.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best, including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out. Even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Madam Vice President, two more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces, that the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an
Trump.
obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the #1 threat?
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion that Iran posed a threat to Israel, I was there. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself.
I bet it did, Gary.
And to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that
But those
is,
proxies were getting
and
funded
my
by Iran.
commitment to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put
But here are
Iran in check.
the estimates
and then
in billions
it was during Donald Trump's
that go
administration
towards
that
the Iran regime.
that we had an American military base that was attacked, where
This is
American
bad for her.
soldiers
This is
suffered
bad.
traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention
Madam
how
Vice
Donald
President,
Trump has,
all of this money
has treated
that
and
has
talked
gone
about
in the
America's
past few
military
years,
and military service people,
critics
calling them
say that it goes to
suckers and
Hezbollah,
losers,
Hamas,
has diminished
and
the
Houthis. We're
significance.
talking over each other. I
Well,
apologize.
I
you're not.
wish, I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts.
You're right, Hardwire.
Which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a
And there
decision
are
that
critics
they
who
feel.
look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have
there,
much more to
there are
say,
a lot of
actually.
things that people want to learn about you
No
and
fucking
your
way.
policies, and
Yes.
that's why we
I
invited
invite
you
everyone to go to kamalaharris.com, and you will see that
What's
I
up,
have
Shay?
80
Over there in Dublin, Ireland?
pages of policies that are quite comprehensive and should be accessible to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do
And that's why
intend
we
to do to
invited you
strengthen our
here,
economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and
to
where you are
support
now.
America's military and ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
And
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
She is
Hey,
so
Sean-
condescending at the very end. Thank you. Thank you.
Stupid.
Well, that was eventful, everybody. What did you guys think of that legendary interview? You know what I mean? Do you think honestly that that is going to change voters' votes? Do you think it's going to change a little bit of some minds out there? Do you think the people that are in the in-betweener, you know what I mean, not really convicted on either one, I just don't see that this working out very well for her. I think this was a terrible decision on her part. And then while she was up there, she tried to hold it together, but there was, she definitely couldn't. She was going up against a pro, you know what I mean? The truth is, now he did speak over her a little bit. It did happen a handful of times. But I don't think he did it too much. I don't think he did that too much. I think he let her ramble on a bit, which is good. And she was actually speaking over him a lot of the times too. So there was a lot of, crosstalk, right? Her people made him wrap it up, not the studio. Her people knew she was drowning. Abso-fucking-lutely guarantee that's I can almost guarantee that is exactly what happened. And the only reason why I'm not saying it's 100% sure is only because I was not there. That's it. Because I do know that is got to be the fact. She needs to walk away now and disappear. Yeah, I gotta agree. I don't know how this is going to play out for her campaign. You don't get to those levels of power by being stupid. It takes smarts and ruthlessness. Thanks for that. To land in the seat. That's absolutely facts as well. She just sounds like a confused menopausal woman. Yeah, for sure. I can't wait for the election to be over. We need to get back to titties, bacon, and gun talk. I gotta agree. I gotta concur with that. That is definitely true. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, what an eventful little thing to go over and hang out and actually go over this interview completely live react. I'd only seen the very first clip of the interview, and I think that was only like 45 seconds that I got to see before I had actually watched this. And that's the only thing I knew about it. So you guys got a full-on live reaction from it, man. It's always a good-ass time. Make sure you guys hit that like button, man. We put a lot of fucking work into this shit. And I have to sit through this bullshit all the time. And, a lot of the, before I present something, I have like 100 other things that I'm looking at. You know what I mean? So it takes a lot of research to even just have a single daily show. It's a lot more than people even know. So guys, if you guys can do me a huge favor, follow me on my Instagram at BallValveTV. That's where I post everything behind the scenes of the show, of myself, all that good shit. Direct message me over there. That's where I will respond. May take me a minute, but I will. And make sure you guys are subscribed down below, man. I very much appreciate that. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Tomorrow morning, everybody. Tomorrow morning, we have our members only, membership drive. Okay. Then the very next day, because we're gonna be streaming probably for like 2-3 hours tomorrow on purpose. Like we're doing that for the members drive. And then the very next day is on Saturday morning, same time, 10 a.m. CST. We're doing the members only live stream for you guys, man. And we get to say some words and shit over there too. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Have a safe one out there. Be good. And we'll see you very soon. Be good.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in its soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on 2 wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.